What's up, everyone? Welcome to IGN's live stream of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I'm Anthony Gallegos. With me is Glen Schofield, studio head at Sledgehammer Games.
Hi.
And we're going to launch right into the single player right here. This is a mission called Mind the Gap. Where does this take place in the campaign?
It takes place within the first act, but near the end. It takes place in the docks of London, and you're playing as a SAS team, and you've heard about this package on the ground, mysterious package that you need to get eyes on and get more intelligence about.
So yeah, if you're just joining us, obviously everyone is, you can send us your questions to IGN's Twitter feed, twitter.com/IGN with the hashtag Modern Warfare 3. We're going to be answering questions, and we're going to be giving away some cool prizes like the Turtle Beach headsets, some Gunner Optics glasses, and 20 copies of Modern Warfare 3, your platform of choice. So, and you can also go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/IGN, where you can like us and become a fan, and you can enter for a chance to win this Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Xbox 360 package. But yeah, you do have to be an American to win them. But yeah, so here we are in the campaign. Obviously, you guys have done a lot of work, Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward. What have you guys kind of done to change this up from what we've seen before in other Call of Duty? Obviously, sequels, you want to keep it similar, but...
Yeah, we try and keep some of the things so it feels like a bit of an old friend. I can kind of get into it. But then again, we have to add quite a bit of innovation and change. I think you can see it in the graphics, and then you can hear it in the audio. We've made a lot of adjustments and a lot of upgrades to that, and a lot of detail in here. Even all the weapons, whether they're new or old, we've upgraded them as well with new models and new audio. And here, one of the things that we're trying to do as well is kind of change the way that you're playing. So you're playing as an SAS officer here, and we're trying to make you play the way that they are. They have a different technique and different style of fighting than, say, Delta or the Marines or something like that. So we're trying to change that up within the game so you're playing within their style. We'll do it later in the game as well when you're following some of the IGN from Paris.
So to get to know the IGN and the SAS guys, did you guys actually consult with representatives from them?
Yeah. We do a lot of research, and we consult with them and find out some of their techniques.
I imagine a lot of on-location sort of research as well to make sure that when you're creating London here or when you're creating France, you want them, obviously cities look similar at a glance, but the finer details are kind of the things that you have to pull out and make sure that you're being true to the location.
Yeah, we try and get to as many places as we can. There's some Sierra Leone where we just don't want to go to, but some of the details that are important to us and also important to making a place feel more like it is simple things like the manhole covers, the lines in the street, the crosswalks, the signage. All that is really, really important because that goes into making up what the city looks like and how it feels to a person who's there. We want, if you've lived in the city, if you've visited one of these places, we want you to feel like this is familiar.
The first question that came in from Twitter user Busrolla, who is going to win a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for the platform of their choice. He says, what's the biggest difference, campaign-wise, from the previous games?
That's a good question, but I would say probably the environments that we're in. We're in these big, huge urban environments now. Not only is the footprint in terms of the size of the map bigger, but also we go vertical. So you've got these big cityscapes, and you're fighting in an urban developments in different types of spacing as well.
And not just, it seems like it's also not just special operations. Like this one starts off in special operations, and this is obviously much more of a small-scale skirmish.
Yes.
But this one really starts to get into the idea of like world combat, like armies clashing rather than small groups.
This is truly a global battle. I mean, we've gone from the United States, we're in Europe, so we've got Paris and London and Berlin and Prague, and then we move on. We're in Africa, we're in Russia, and the Himalayas. So yes, this is a world.
Oh, I mean, obviously everything in this is based, in reality to a degree, but obviously what goes on is fantasy. Do you guys ever worry though about involving France, involving Sierra Leone, these locations that you involve that could potentially offend, maybe people or or being I guess, treating it in a tasteful manner. Yeah.
We try to. We never intend to offend anybody, and we never go into anything and say we're going to create controversy or anything. But it's important to us as artists is the story. We write a story, we come up with the locations, and we want to remain true to that. But in all cases, we try and have deep respect for the places we have and the military people find.
So another Twitter question from Roxas3510. They will ask, will this be the last Modern Warfare game?
I hope not.
Well, obviously there will be other Call of Duties. I think that's safe to say. But like just whether or not this will be this kind of continuation of this particular story arc. This particular era.
Well, what we wanted to do with this one is pay off the investment that people have made on Game 1 and Game 2, and pay it off here in a big way, not only in the gameplay, but in the story. So by the time you're done playing this game, you feel satisfied that the whole story, the campaign for the last 3 games, has been paid off. Now, is it the end? I don't really know. To tell you the truth, we have been so focused on the game, what we don't want to think about is the next one. What we've been wanting to think about is this one. And
supporting it post-release, obviously.
Yeah. So we don't want to have any distractions on what the next game is going to be. So we need some rest, and then we'll get down and think about what's next for us.
Do you think that, Sledgehammer obviously will continue to be involved with Call of Duty games, though, in the future?
Sure, hope so.
Yeah.
I would think so. We had a good run here. It was wonderful working with the IW guys. We learned a lot about this.
Out of curiosity, so what was the kind of development like? Obviously, people think of the Modern Warfare series as an IW sort of thing.
Yes.
So how much was Sledgehammer involved, versus IW's involvement with the creation of Modern Warfare 3?
This was truly a co-development. We were like one large team. We weren't that far apart. We're in San Francisco area. They're down in LA. So we're on the phone. We're on VidCon. We're on planes all the time. And it's really 50-50. Our 2 names are on the front of the box because of that. We were there at the very beginning with them and sat down with them as fans. And of course, they're the creators. And once we had a vision, a singular vision, then it was just sort of off to the races. You've got 2 great teams with multiple, you've got 2 art directors, you've got 2 design directors, creative directors, audio directors, and we just kind of picked what we really wanted to work on.
So another Twitter question that comes in from Erzjav, who is going to actually win a Gunner Optics Modern Warfare 3 gaming glasses, which I've heard from pro players that actually make quite a big difference if you're going to sit there and play for a long time.
Yeah, I may take them from him.
He asks, how many countries do you go to in Modern Warfare 3? Because obviously Black Ops you went to other countries, but that was focused around one character. This one, is about a global conflict.
Yeah, wow, I didn't count them. Let me see. I don't want to give it all away, but
sure.
Africa, we've got Russia.
It should really almost be how many continents you go to.
Yeah, we go to, I guess, 3 continents, and there must be about 8-9 countries.
Wow. So you really...
A lot of research on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say too, but, in this game...
Maybe more.
Black Ops 2 focused around one character. This character kind of... Is Modern Warfare 3 returning to the formula of the campaign of the other 2, where it's, more traditional IW way of jumping to, sticking to a core group of characters, A
core group, yeah. I think it's a smaller group this time. One of the things that we wanted to make sure is that people understood the story, they understood the objectives, and they understood who they were playing for each level and each map. So we didn't want to do a heck of a lot of jumping around. We also wanted you to get comfortable with the character you're playing, but we do jump around them.
Do you find that it's hard to make a story that kind of where people feel like, oh, I am this person when you kind of bounce around? Or is it less about feeling like I am this person and more like just kind of understanding the perspective of these few men that are going through these kind of, exceptional circumstances?
Yeah, this is one of I've designed a lot of games, and this one is one, I found it very interesting. It was very creative in that it's more like a movie where you're jumping. You're not always following one character, but you're following someone else, and they do that a lot in the movies. And instead of just following one character and their path in this, you get to see different parts of the story. So this was fun and quite interesting to design.
So, obviously the big giant set pieces are a huge kind of staple of Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare. People compared it to Michael Bay movies and stuff like that. Obviously we just saw this huge train wreck, like, how do you guys try and make sure that, you're sticking to the Call of Duty formula, but you're also not, trying to just always one-up yourselves and create something that's like utterly ridiculous? Grounding it in reality enough, but making it exciting to play.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where we've designed something where, like, you know what, that is really over the top. That's too much. On the other hand, some of the craziest things happen in wars. So we look at, we'll go back and look at some of these things and go, wow, we were maybe a little bit too tame. But it is important that we do go to the next level, and the more that we learn about the hardware, and of course we're way into this generation, the better we get at doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys put in little personal jokes and stuff? I noticed like you have these movie posters you guys have to make and stuff like that. I'm just wondering if we were to pay more attention when we finally get our hands on, is that something we could maybe see some potential little Easter eggs or little homages you guys put in for your own little entertainment?
You might. Yeah, here and there are definitely the personal touches that we put in. We try not to make any of it, of course, take away from the gameplay.
Sure. I'm just saying, I mean, you guys are spending, a year
we spend a lot of time
of your
on
life on this game.
2 years, yeah, you bet.
So another Twitter question, a guy named That Boy Who Camps says, will combat training be making a return to Modern Warfare 3?
In the single player, what we want to do is get you into the action as soon as possible. And so we've kind of taken the training at the beginning of that.
Yeah, tutorials are always kind of a hard thing. How many times do you do that sort of?
Yeah, we kind of felt that, on the sort of the 8th iteration of Call of Duty and the 3rd of Modern Warfare, that we wanted to tell a story. So we do ease you into it, but you get into a battle right away. And we're not going to introduce brand new mechanics or anything without kind of helping you along the way.
Yeah, I mean, so just we're watching the campaign here for Modern Warfare 3. If you're joining us, remember you can send in your questions to our Twitter at twitter.com/IGN with the hashtag Modern Warfare 3. So how important is it to people to play, Modern Warfare 1 and 2 if they want to jump into 3? Can they just jump in completely unaware of the first two? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, because that's one of the things that we talk about when we're designing the game. Let's get down to the beginning. Is that you have to make it that you have to assume that there are going to be a certain amount of people that haven't played the others, and especially a game like this, which is always seems to be accumulating more and more followers. You have to think about that, and it's like a movie. They have to assume that people haven't seen the first one. And in this case, we actually introduced some new characters right away, so that it's something that whether you're new or old to the series, you're learning about these characters for the first time.
So another Twitter question from Yair, Don, and Will, who I like his question. So I'm going to give you a copy of Modern Warfare 3, platform of your choice again. Remember, if you send in your questions, you can win a chance to get a Turtle Beach headset, some Gunner Optics glasses, or a copy of the game. And if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/IGN, become a fan, you can enter a chance to win this Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Xbox that I'm very jealous about.
Me too.
So he asks, will the future installments of Modern Warfare 3 or whatever Call of Duty that you guys may or may not be involved with, do you think that they will continue to be co-developed, or will in the future maybe Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer go on to do different projects from each other?
Again, getting back to what I touched on before, is we don't know exactly what we're working on. The one thing I can tell you is that Activision is really good about making sure that a studio is passionate about what they're working on, and they will ask you what you want to work on. And in this case, we would love to stay in the Call of Duty franchise. As far as what's best for the two studios, it was a little bit out of necessity the two of us work together, and I think it was just as much for us, because we were just becoming a studio.
Yeah.
And they were kind of rebuilding, and working together was just perfect. We got to learn everything.
So it kind of sounds like it could happen, but it's to be determined. It kind of works out. Maybe what's best for the project.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing multiplayer.
Kill confirmed.
Kill confirmed, which is a new multiplayer mode for Modern Warfare 3.
We love this one.
Yeah, I played it. I think it's a really cool mode too. So the basic premise of what you're watching is that not only do you have to kill a person, but that does not earn a point for your team.
Yes.
You actually have to. They drop a flashing dog tag, and you have to collect that in order to get a point.
Yeah, the enemy will drop the gold ones that you saw there, and if one of your guys is shot and killed, you'll see them as red. And you can actually deny the kill as well. So if you go out and you grab the red ones, then you've denied the kill from the enemy. You also get assists. You can shoot the guy and then somebody else can get it. Now, one of the things you got to watch out for is these guys will set it up as bait.
Yeah, I was going to say that's when I played it. I liked the fact that you could put it on a choke point and be like, oh, I should really go get that tag, but then you have that moment where you're like, no, I shouldn't, because it's just going to draw them out in an effort to try and get those tags.
And they wait. It's like a flag. They'll wait around it and take you out. Especially if there's 2 or 3 hanging out in one area.
Yeah.
Be wary.
So this map that we're seeing, I don't suppose. Do you know how many maps there will actually be? That's actually a Twitter question that comes from HTR Adavan. He asks how many maps will come out with the game. When
we're coming out with 16 maps.
Are any
straight
of those,
out right out of the box? We're coming out with 16.
And these are all new maps to people, not revisions of old maps or anything?
No. These are new maps, and they'll also be used in the Spec Ops survival mode. So that if you're playing survival mode, you can go in there and get a little bit used to the maps, or vice versa if you're a multiplayer and you want to go into Spec Ops later. But these are all brand new.
So another Twitter question that comes from Ninja Star, and for their question, they're actually going to win one of our 4 Modern Warfare 3 Turtle Beach headsets. They were asking, what was Raven Software's involvement in the game? Because I think it's commonly known that Raven and I think Neversoft actually helped out with the game a little bit as well.
No, Neversoft wasn't involved.
Okay.
You know what happens with any game, whether you're with, it doesn't matter the company, right? When you need a little bit of help, you kind of look around, and sometimes you look externally. In this case, we happen to have a great studio in Raven, and we asked them for some help, working on some maps because they've got that experience. They know the engine really, really well, and they're a really talented bunch. The game is really developed by Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games, but we got some help from them, and we really needed it.
So this question, I think, is kind of one that your particular expertise would be good for answering. It's another Twitter question from JSarver101, and he says, what kind of attention was brought to weapons and sounds in relation to realism for Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah, that is a good question, and we do spend a lot of time on trying to get the sounds authentic. Now, the funny thing is, sometimes when you listen to them, they don't sound, in real life, they don't sound as great as you want them to. But in most cases, we'll go out and we'll get the weapons, we'll shoot them, we'll record them, and we'll do that with helicopters and everything. And if it needs a little rework, we'll go back and rework it so it sounds correct.
Yeah, having listened to it and stuff, you can tell a lot of the guns have a much more heft to them. You feel like you're firing a large caliber weapon when you're firing a large caliber weapon.
Yep.
Sound design is obviously something that's very important. Do you feel that was that something that you wanted to have personally? Like you felt that this would add something to the realism? I feel like sometimes sound is something that people don't pay a lot of attention to.
Yeah, coming from our last game, which audio is just a huge part. It's always been something near and dear to my heart is making sure that audio has its place in video games. And Don Vecca he's a real industry vet. We've been working on games for years. And we'll sit in the room and we'll talk about sound design, and we spend a lot of time.
When you do sound design, do you guys sit there and have to listen to sounds like with headphones, with speakers, to make sure it all sounds different?
Yeah, they'll get into all the details with our sound designers and all, but he and I will talk. We'll get specific on great moments, like when you and I talked about the Berlin intro, and really wanted that to feel like I'm heading into a battle. And you will also we'll do things like look into the doors in the way that in the song in the end, he had the helicopter, and then it would go right into the audio. And we talk about all kinds of sound design.
So a Twitter question from Yankee0591. He asks, will PS3 Elite members get the map packs the same day as the Xbox 360 Elite members? Do you know?
I'm a developer. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to table that question.
Yeah.
Robert Bowling, the creative strategist for Infinity Ward, he's going to join us a little bit later.
Yep.
So here we are seeing another kill confirm map. Obviously, these perks are always such a big thing. Modern Warfare kind of invented the whole system of like having perks and earning things. Do you have a particular loadout that's kind of your favorite?
I have a couple, and it really depends now on with the new game, the class that you choose, right? If you're support,
strike packages.
Yeah, the different strike packages. So, I'll change it up a bit, and it also depends on sort of the mode. Like, there are times I really like to play a sniper, but in kill confirmed, I'm never going to get any kills.
Tags.
Yeah. Or I have to work with someone really closely.
Do you? Obviously. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Got really distracted by the game.
I love this map.
Yeah, me too. Strike packages are obviously a major change for the game. And for people that don't understand, strike packages, I'll go and explain it. It's basically that kill streaks have obviously been a big thing, but to get those, you always had to get kills successfely, one after the other, in a single spawn. Body counts. You still have that in the assault strike package.
Yes.
But now you've also added a support one, as well as I'm trying to remember. Specialist.
Yeah. And the idea there was that we found out with 30 million people playing Call of Duty online last year alone, you've got so many different styles of play, and we found that in many cases we were just rewarding the guy who did have the big body counts, and we still want to reward them, but we also want to give something to the guys who are just supporting their team, and so that. Hence the support package.
Yeah, the support one, the difference there that kind of surprised me, but I actually grew to really like it, was they don't have as much offensive stuff directly.
No.
They're not going to call in a crazy airstrike or an attack chopper, but the difference there is that they also carry over their kills towards their kill streaks between spawns. So they don't have to get one body count on a big old single spawn. So it might be good for someone that maybe is not as traditionally good, but still gives them a really important role.
That's what we think, and we found. The other thing that's funny now that we have more and more people playing, some of the guys that were just totally assault, hardcore guys, are going in and changing their package to, support for the different levels.
I feel like it's also good because in some way it kind of gives Call of Duty something that it's kind of lacked for a long time. Everyone wants to lone wolf it in multiplayer a lot. They don't even think about their team a lot. And all of a sudden now this is like a class that's dedicated to thinking about ways to support the team.
Yeah. Or what we found, like I mentioned, is that there was the support guys who kind of went unnoticed, right?
Yeah.
We've seen guys who are just practicing running across the map because they want to find the quickest way, grab the flag and run. And we want to help support that.
So another Twitter question that comes in, and this is from Pezcore 1994. They ask, are any celebrity voices in the single player or multiplayer?
Yes. I'm not sure if we've announced them or not. I would love to announce them.
Okay, but people can look forward to hearing some probably familiar voices.
Yeah, we'll put it this way. We went out, we got people that fit the game. Not go out and get a celebrity for the celebrity just for the heck of it. They really do. They're authentic. They sound great. They were the right choice. We chose it.
That's very good. So right now, again, we're seeing another kill confirm map. If you're just joining us, this is Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. Remember, you can send in your questions on Twitter at twitter.com/IGN. Use the hashtag MW3. You can also enter to win our Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Xbox if you go to our facebook.com/IGN page and become a fan. Right now we're seeing an awesome...
Yeah.
The missiles that you can fire into this game. Is there ever a worry with certain kill streaks becoming a little overpowered? I think that maybe that's been a complaint with multiplayer for a long time, is that sometimes when one team gets on a roll, they really can start steamrolling the other side.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we really wanted to do with this game is try and balance it as much as possible. Give more customization, reward the other players, but also try and balance it as much as possible. We feel we've done that, and hopefully it's gotten better. We'll know within a week.
So another thing that you guys have added, actually right now everyone's playing in private matches here, is that you've separated out a private match experience versus like a normal game experience. Like you level up totally independently of one another, right? Mm-hmm. But in private matches you also have everything unlocked as well, correct?
I
believe
yes,
so. Sorry.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, it kind of changes a lot of the stuff that I guess if people want to just jump in and find everything without earning it, now they can do private matches, which is really cool. And we're actually seeing some of the new class customization on the screen right now. Not too different from what we've seen before, but obviously perks have changed.
Yep, absolutely.
Strike packages are the new kill counts that we were just discussing before. Assault being obviously their super aggressive one, and then their support and specialist.
Well, the specialist is going to be one that people are still kind of questioning how they're going to use it. And I think that it's going to be one of those things that people are going to be challenging each other with. It's you want to be a real warrior. That's what we're going to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So another Twitter question that comes in from TriggyWiggy. Yeah, and for your and for your question, I'm going to send you and for your awesome username, I'm going to send you a copy of Modern Warfare 3, platform of your choice. He asks, "Who is your favorite Modern Warfare 3 character?" Or really, I'm more curious who your favorite character in the Modern Warfare series is.
I gotta say I do like Price.
I think I'm a Price man myself.
He's no nonsense, and we show that here in this game. But then he's also got a really good heart.
Yeah.
And he stands by his guys. He's tough on them, but he'll stand by them.
I mean, what was it like working with these? Do you feel like you draw any sort of inspiration for the characters that you create based on your interactions with these actual Delta members and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, when we were creating the new characters like Sandman, we worked closely with the Delta guys, and we learned an awful lot. The Delta's a pretty secret fighting force. Matter of fact, they don't exist, and they'll probably be killed after this. But they are true patriots. I mean, this is what they want to do. This is all they think about and it's the same for the SAS and the GIGN in different countries. But they wouldn't necessarily give us ideas for missions. We would come up with the missions, but then we would ask them to help make them authentic.
Yeah, make sure that you weren't doing something that was utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another Twitter question from XXX Wolf XXX. He says, "Are vehicles going to be in the campaign of Modern Warfare 3, a la snowmobile, Jeep, etc.?"
Yes. Yeah, we have different vehicles in the game, and again, it's not just to throw them in for vehicle sake, but it was right for the mission, or
Pacing is obviously always a huge
yes.
part of Modern Warfare 3. I mean, you have parts. I mean, not just Modern Warfare 3, but every series. It always seems like there's an emphasis on like this mission will do stealth. This mission will just be crazy nuts for 20 minutes, and then once you've had your heart pounding for a while, we'll ease it back.
Yeah. Well, there's also new mechanics in there. There's new features, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think people are going to find a really good variety in the campaign and the multiplayer.
So a very common question that I'm sure you get all the time. Twitter user Craneface says, "How long is the single player campaign?" It's kind of an arbitrary question, I know.
It's so arbitrary that it's really hard. What are you playing it on? Are you playing it on Recruit? Are you playing it on Hardened? I don't know. You're sitting down and playing. We never sit down when we're designing the game and go, let's make a 10-hour game. We go, let's make a great story.
Yeah.
And whatever it comes out to be, and nowadays, as we're designing, we've been doing it long enough that you have an idea that, okay, this is long enough. But it's really about the story, and we just let it happen.
I mean, I think the thing too with the Modern Warfare series and Call of Duty in general is that campaign is only obviously one component, right? I mean, today throughout the live stream, we've shown single player. There's that campaign, and then there's Spec Ops, and then there's multiplayer with that.
Yep.
You know, you can level up to some crazy level, and then prestige over and over again. You can literally spend.
Yep. Well, what about, you think about the Spec Ops and the new thing that we just added. So we've got the mission modes that we've had in there before, which was a game mode in itself. Now we've added survival mode, and survival mode is unlimited amounts of waves, infinite waves, and that you can go on and on and on, and it's so addicting, so much fun. It's a true co-op experience.
And there are leaderboards for it
Absolutely.
as well.
All the leveling up, all the upgrading, all that whole system from multiplayer we brought into survival mode. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We kind of look at the game now as there's something for everybody, and it's just three legs of the stool. You got campaign, single player, you've got Spec Ops, the co-op, and of course multiplayer. They're huge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously multiplayer has been, I mean, it's, you're not going to mess with something too much if it works and it's amazing.
Yeah, right.
But I've noticed that leveling seems a little bit different in this, that there's been so many more challenges added to where the sense of reward is constant. I mean, even right there, throughout this we've seen constant numbers popping up, constant awards popping up. So you don't necessarily have to be like the world's most amazing, player to sit there and still be able to earn rewards, level up.
Right, and that's one of the things that they would go back to years of making games is reward the player for playing, and they should feel like they're accomplishing something because they are.
Right, sorry, I get distracted whenever I see.
Me too.
You have your community manager and Guy playing, and the guy's just a monster.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I know.
So another Twitter question that comes from Twitter user I think Muza, who I think I like their question. So they're gonna win a Modern Warfare 3 gaming glasses from Gunner Optics. They ask, what things will make people want to play and stay on Modern Warfare 3 instead of playing one of the older Call of Duty games like Black Ops?
Well, I mean, we've learned from those games. I'm not saying go away from those, but I think that any iteration of a game, you try and make it better. You feel like you've made it better, and I think besides the upgrades that we made and additions to all the leveling up and the weapons and things like that, the levels look better, they sound better, they feel better, right? We've learned about creating just a map and what makes it special.
Do you guys typically kind of go back and sit there and be like, like you have that meeting where you're like, well, what didn't we like? What do we feel like we could have done better?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know what you don't like, right? You come away and you know right away the things that didn't work as well as others, and the first thing you want to do is right those wrongs.
So remember, if you're just tuning in, we're playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, live streaming here, the multiplayer, the new mode, kill confirmed, seeing a Predator missile strike come in. Oh, successful.
It was.
So if you're just joining us, you can send in your questions to our Twitter at twitter.com/IGN with the hashtag Modern Warfare 3 or MW3.
This guy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys have your community manager. He's a monster at this game.
Yeah, I know, and I should fire him.
I was gonna say I don't know where you guys found him, but he's a predator.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a rule where he can't kill me anymore.
So another question that comes in from Twitter from Deely18. They ask, are there any gold guns in the game? People always like to trick out the way their weapon looks.
I don't leave that to bowling.
Okay.
If I give it away, if I give anything away, yes or no.
Well, I think it's safe to say that there are definitely, you can change the appearance of your weapon.
Yes.
There's definitely leveling up where people can look at you and tell that you've done quite a bit of play.
Yep.
So I think
that's an important part of the game.
Right. I mean, if people want to always feel like,
exactly,
you want to feel like you're progressing, but you also want to be able to look like you're progressing and show it off as well.
Yeah.
We're about to come up on the tail end. There we go. I've noticed the nice thing about the kill confirm maps too is that they're actually pretty fast paced. They don't tend to. They seems like they kind of focus the combat in a way that other multiplayer modes don't. For in a typical multiplayer map, since people aren't trying to collect tags, they'll just run all over the place. But when tags start falling in one area, it seems like it really creates like a small skirmish zone where people are battling over like a collection of tags.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they do, and they're usually in an area that feels like I'm vulnerable. And, and that's
an
makes
open
sense,
field
right?
or something like that.
Or right there, they were in that pit there, and so you want to go down there. There's that risk reward, right? And it in a way that kind of promotes working together. Right? So guard me, I'll go down and get them.
Yeah, well, and I think that's going to be important too, since there's going to be a much larger emphasis on clans and stuff with Modern Warfare 3. So that sort of team play is going to become a pretty significant deal. Another Twitter question that comes in from C. McCullough. He asks, is there any emphasis on stealth in the game? And I think he's referring kind of to the campaign. Yes, sure.
Stealth is an important part of not only the game but battling and war. So yes, we've got it in there, and you'll see it if you like stealth. There's different types of stealth in there, and we sprinkled it throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of special operatives guys don't necessarily go in guns blazing to start with, but there's also a large emphasis placed again on crazy battlefields. Like, this is the closest thing that anyone's ever, I feel, come to portraying like World War III.
Oh, that's good. Thanks. Well, I think the things that are out there, the different trailers and things that we have to show, in most cases are going to have sort of the big moments and the big battles. But it was really important when you're creating a game like this to have really good pacing. So, maybe you're going to ease into a battle, or, in the middle of a battle something happens and we change the pacing. So you're going to get a wide variety of features and modes and pacing throughout the game. And just to kind of keep you on your toes.
Do you ever find, when you're doing the design that there's any sort of challenge with, you're creating all these crazy moments and there's a lot of, sort of oorah, sort of like big explosion stuff, but then there's also the parts where it slows down and it's a little more touching. And I'm not just saying even in this game, I'm saying even in the past Modern Warfares, they've always kind of tried to balance out the crazy explosions, crazy combat with like, trying to develop a character story. These are human beings, and these horrible things are, they're going through these extraordinary circumstances.
Well, when we came on to Modern Warfare and talked with IW and sort of got the pillars of what the Modern Warfare series is about, one of the big ones that they talked about a lot is, camaraderie and teamwork. And that's just a part of being Spec Ops guys. That's part of being a soldier. And we want to make sure that we continue to portray that and show the human side of this.
So obviously private game matches are, I had heard the private game modes actually make up a lot of the player base for Call of Duty, which is kind of a cool thing that now we're seeing private matches. You can jump in, have access to everything right off the bat. And man, the guy that's playing right now, Mike, is really good with the sniper rifle. Yeah, even at close range, I cannot believe that he's killing these guys. I know. Yep. So Robert Bowling is going to now join us, which is good because creative strategist, he can help us out with the multiple. Woo! Hello, Robert.
Hey.
Hi, Robert. Are you already mic'd up?
How are you? Good to see you.
Creative strategist for Infinity Ward.
Yes.
Okay.
I am currently.
So let me go back to, there was a multiplayer question that someone asked earlier on. He asks. Sorry, I'm spacing.
Yes, there's a couple that.
Oh yeah, so will PS3 Elite members
get
the map packs the same day as Xbox 360 Elite members?
I don't know how Elite's set up is. Obviously Elite members get content earlier, then they come out in the pack form on their platforms. I don't know if that impacts the deals Activision has set up for when the platform itself get the packs. So that would be a good Call of Duty Elite question for the Beachhead team.
So we were talking about it earlier. Do you actually have a favorite loadout so far when you've been playing Modern Warfare 3? Like maybe it's something that the people who are watching could take as a pro tip for when the game comes out?
It depends on the game type that you're playing in. Like, what are they doing right now?
They're doing Kill Confirmed right now, yeah.
Kill Confirmed. So Kill Confirmed, for me, it's all about situational awareness. So Kill Confirmed it's kind of a mix between a team deathmatch and objective thing, but I still use my team deathmatch loadout for it. So I'm focused on speed and situational awareness.
Is there a sort of sorry, not a kill streak, but a strike package that you kind of favor over one or the other?
For Kill Confirmed?
Or yeah, sure, for Kill Confirmed.
For Kill Confirmed, I actually use my support package. Because what I want that situational awareness, because I want to know where guys are, because where the enemies are is important because that's where the most tags are going to be. And in this, getting tags is far more important than getting kills. So you want to be going in, and not only do you want to be focusing on getting the kills for your team, but picking up the dog tags that your team's are leaving behind. Especially come launch day, you're going to notice a lot of players just playing TDM. They're going to be taking guys out and completely ignoring the tags. So if you're that guy on day one who's running in there and picking up all those tags, you're going to be, picking up a shit ton of XP.
Yeah. So obviously experience is a big deal because now you not only are gaining levels, but you guys have also added the ability to level up weapons in this. And so can you talk a little bit about, I guess, why leveling up a weapon is important as opposed to, focusing on just your guy?
Well, leveling up a weapon is important because when you're leveling up your weapon, you're unlocking everything for that weapon. That's how you're unlocking your attachments, your camos, your weapon proficiencies, most importantly.
Yeah, weapon proficiencies I think are something that kind of bear a little bit of talking about. They're really cool. Like I guess the easiest way to think about them is a weapon perk, which it seems like you guys kind of took some of the perks from the other games and have now attached them to weapon proficiency, so you can effectively almost have like a fourth perk at times.
Exactly, yeah. Things like that were bling in the previous games is now 2 attachments as a weapon proficiency, which allows you to add multiple attachments. Things like deep impact that were perks before are now for deeper impact, but it allows you to fully specialize in your weapon, and it's great because, I have like a favorite weapon, but sometimes that weapon isn't always perfect for like, say, domination as it is for team deathmatch. But now I can, customize that same weapon, like an ACR, different ways so that that same weapon now works better for me when I'm focusing on speed and like, capture the flag, or when I'm focusing on accuracy, like in things like kill confirmed or TDM. So I'll use things like less kick when I want to be focused on accuracy when I'm playing TDM, but I might switch out less kick for something else when I'm going objective. Like I'll use the 2 attachments, put on the dual scope, so I have the medium and long range thing. So when I'm playing Dom, because obviously I want to be using an EOTech or a holographic sight when I'm up on the Dom point capturing, but when I'm sitting back defending it, I want to be using the magnifying scope.
So if you're just joining us, we're here with Glen Schofield, the head of the head of Sledgehammer.
That's okay.
And Robert Bowling, the creative strategist of Infinity Ward, and we are playing Modern Warfare 3 live. You can send in your questions to twitter.com/IGN with the hashtag MW3. And so we are taking Twitter questions. We're going to actually give away a lot of cool stuff. So Twitter user DSE, who I like their question, so I'm going to give you a copy of Modern Warfare 3 for platform of your choice. He asks, will the dive ability return in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer?
No, there's no dolphin diving in Modern Warfare 3.
Is there a reason that you guys took that out?
It's a matter of style. I mean, Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer style is very much more in the vein of Modern Warfare 2 in terms of speed and weapon damage and things like, the ability to drop the prone rather than dive the prone. It's just a different style in how the game plays out. It's the style that we prefer, definitely.
So, the elite stuff is all new.
Yeah.
And that's, having seen it for myself, it's pretty cool, the stats that it tracks. What was sort of the goal when you guys brought in the elite service?
The elite service was, with Modern Warfare 3 as a whole, as a platform as a whole, we were looking at how can we not only reward and incentivize players for playing in multiple styles of play, so getting outside of just that team deathmatch player, which is, why we did strike packages, why we did new game modes like Kill Confirmed. But then also, we wanted to give the player tools to identify what they're good at in the game. And Elite was just one step in that direction of allowing you to see, like, okay, maybe I'm not a good kill-death ratio guy. Maybe I'm horrible at team deathmatch, but I'm really good at defending flags, or I'm really good as an assist player, I'm really good at this. So it allows you to figure out what type of player you are so you can better customize your loadout, your strike package, how you're approaching the game, so that you can take advantage of that.
And largely, all the features that you described, they're all free. That's the thing that I think sometimes people get a little caught up on, is thinking that they have to pay for all of this. The paid features are actually much smaller, it seems like, than the list of free features. The
Definitely.
List, yeah.
Much smaller. And then plus it includes all the DLC we ever do for Modern Warfare 3. So if you're buying DLC in the first place, it makes no sense not to get Elite and then go ahead and get all the other stuff that comes with the DLC that you get.
So what sort of, I think people have been kind of wondering, here's a good quick Twitter question from Exponential. He says, does every gun have a weapon level? Every gun can level up, correct?
You level up your, every weapon in the game has its own individual rank, and then only primaries have the weapon proficiency.
Okay. But obviously you need to use pistols necessarily to unlock something like a Kimbo or something like that.
Right, yeah.
So what sort of strike package additions have been added to the game? Earlier we saw the advanced UAV, which is kind of plays a similar role to the, I guess, the spy planes in the previous one, where now you can actually tell facing of opponents, not just where they are.
Exactly. It's a more detailed situational awareness rather than just the red dots.
Are there any other strike packages you think that have been added that are like, particularly noteworthy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them. I mean, one of my favorite is the little mini tank that you can get, which is awesome, because that's the one that I typically put in my assault strike package when I get up there, because once you get it, you throw it down, you call in a care package, it comes down, you open it up, you get this little mini tank, drive it around, and I mean, this thing is awesome. It's fairly slow, so it takes you time to get around the map, so where you deploy it is very important, because if you're planning on, like, I use it a lot in Dom, but if you're planning on defending that Dom point with that, make sure you're getting up there, because by the time you get to it, it's going to take you a while.
I think it's also, it's really cool that I feel like the strike package things have been worked in such a way that they really benefit specific game types now.
Yes, definitely.
There's one of the strike package bonuses you get is a stationary emplacement that launches a few explosives, like the first few people that come by a corner.
Yeah, the IMS.
The IMS, yeah. And I think that one's like kind of cool because it may not necessarily serve the best role in something like team deathmatch. I mean, it's still useful, but in something like you're saying, like domination, where they're going to have to try and come get a control point, it can like shut down a control point.
Definitely. You know what I use? I actually use it for, we have a new game mode called Team Defender, and Team Defender is all about, it's a flag-based game mode, so both teams are trying to get the flag, and you're trying to hold on to the flag, because when you have the flag, you get double points for your kills. So the team is trying to hold on to the flag, but you don't have to hold it down at any point. You can move with the flag, like, and capture the flag.
Basically, it's almost like a mobile domination in a way.
Exactly. It's like a mobile domination. So what I will use IMS for is, if I'm the flag bearer, I'll make sure I have IMS, and once I unlock it, I hold on to it. And then when shit gets hairy, and I know I'm about to go down, I throw down the IMS. That way, when I die and the enemy comes to get the flag, it takes them out, so that me and my team have time to respawn and get back to the point.
The next Twitter question from Ben Zurcher.
I love Ben Zurcher.
Yeah, well, and he's pretty multiplayer focused, so because he's so multiplayer focused, I'm going to give him one of the Modern Warfare 3 gaming glasses from Gunner Optics to save his eyes. He says, what is the max level, how many prestiges will there be, and what do you get for prestiging?
Oh, well, see, here's the cool thing. So there's 80 levels max in multiplayer. I was trying to hold off on saying how many prestiges there were until the game came out.
That's fine, I'm just saying.
But then I did the prestige video, and I inadvertently said it. But so there's 10 prestiges, 80 ranks total, and the cool thing is now you have control over what you get for prestige. Where before, you could unlock custom classes in later games, but now we have the brand new thing called Prestige Shop. So once you prestige, you unlock a prestige token, and you will get 1 token for every time you prestige in Modern Warfare 3. And now what you can do is you can spend these tokens in the Prestige Shop that allows you to choose what your reward is. So you can buy extra custom classes if you want, buy as many as you want all the way up to a max of 10, or you can unlock like custom titles and emblems for your call sign. You can choose 1 weapon that you can carry with you to the next prestige and every prestige, which is awesome, because I don't think people realize that when you use the unlock gear, when you use your token on unlock gear, you can choose 1 weapon to permanently unlock. That way, every time you prestige from there on out,
you don't have to get it over.
Yeah, you always have your claymores or your ACR, whatever you want from rank 1. That way you don't have to work your way to it. You can also do things like sign double XP, so you can give yourself 2 hours of double XP, 2 hours of double weapon XP, so if you want to rank up a specific weapon from day 1, you can do that. The cool thing is, the Prestige Shop will actually be open always. So if you have previous prestige tokens from other games, because we're actually rewarding previous players who, if you prestige in Modern Warfare 2, then you'll have a prestige token waiting for you in Modern Warfare 3. If you prestige in Black Ops, you have one waiting for you day 1 in Black Ops.
So obviously, prestiging is a big deal. I mean, why was there a reason that you guys wanted to raise the level cap, say all the way up to 80? Was it that you were finding maybe that like the previous cap just wasn't high enough because people were just going so amazing, or is it because maybe I find that in this one there's so many more challenges. Like early on, you can, if you really want to min-max those challenges, you can really level pretty fast if you want to.
Well, what it wasn't that there is so much stuff to unlock in the game, but what we really looked at was the curve. It wasn't just about a matter of how many ranks there are, it's how much of a grind is that curve to get to max rank and the max prestige? So what we looked at is how could we rebalance that out to a much smoother curve, so you weren't feeling like you were ranking up at a good pace and then it became like this uphill battle. So we wanted to smooth out that curve, and the algorithm that we came up with to do that just led to a much longer rank progression. And then also adding in all the weapon ranking individually, there's so much different ways to unlock stuff now.
So if you're just joining us again, I'm Anthony. We're here with Glen from Sledgehammer, as well as. Sorry, I'm spacing on your name for some stupid reason. I've said it like Robert. Sorry, said it like 5 times. From Infinity Ward.
I'm leaving. This is.
It's an insult to your pride. I know. I'm sorry. So we're here and we're seeing Team Defender, which is the map we're talking about, where there's one flag that you get to that is a mobile flag that people basically have to hold to take up points.
Yeah, Mike's doing pretty darn good here.
Yeah.
You also get additional points if you.
Look at that.
Are there additional points if you defend the flag carrier, or kills obviously still matter and help your team out, but when you're holding the flag, your team earns double experience for kills, correct?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you're getting double points.
Right. So it's almost like
not double XP, but
not double XP. Yeah. Sorry, but double points for the kills. So it's almost like it can almost be like you could use the flag carrier to bait people into a specific kill zone.
Exactly, yeah. The key here is what I would recommend day one when you're playing Team Defender. Don't worry about assault package, strike package, because you're going to be dying constantly in this game mode. Your kill death ratio is going to go to shit here. This is for the objective mindset player. So use your strike package use your support strike package, because you're going to be dying a lot, and the support strike package doesn't reset on death. So it's going to allow you to grind up to those higher ones. The pro players, you're going to notice very early on, will always have the Recon Juggernaut in their support package, because if you can get 1 or 2 Recon Juggernauts in this game mode, defending the flag carrier, or preferably being the flag carrier, you're definitely going to dominate in this.
Yeah, that's actually, you just called out something that I think is one of the cooler strike packages is everyone likes to right there is a great example of how effective the flag can become a killing field.
Yeah.
I think everyone tends to think of their strike packages and their kill streaks as just like being used for like straight up like kills. I'm using this for immediate gratification. And one of the coolest ones and most effective ones I've seen is actually when people call in a Juggernaut armor and all of a sudden just become a mobile bullet sponge for their team.
Yeah.
I've seen that totally turn things around.
It's great in this mode if you're the flag holder, but if you're trying to get the flag, it's great for pushing the flag guy into your guys, because the Juggernaut will always show up on the minimap as like a diamond shape with a dot in it, so you'll know when a Juggernaut's coming for you, and the flag holder will always run from them. So if you can use your Juggernaut to push him into a kill zone, that's your best bet.
Another Twitter question from Lazerez. He asked, how do you address designing a map for multiplayer or Spec Ops? Like, I guess, because obviously they share maps, so he's asking, I guess, how is it that they vary in their design, I guess,
Right,
well, I mean, the multiplayer one, these guys have a real feel for it, and there's a bunch of rules, of course, around the multiplayer. But with the Spec Ops, I know with the survival mode, if that's what they're getting into.
Yeah, I guess I think they're thinking like, how do you choose having a whole map or versus like a focus on a specific section for Spec Ops rather than giving players access to the whole map. Making sure that you have a map that can work for both modes rather than.
Yeah, well, I think it's first and foremost it's a multiplayer map, and once it works in multiplayer, then it's a matter of finding the right sort of spawn points for the characters for the enemies in survival mode. So it's easier to take a great multiplayer map and make it a Spec Ops map. And vice versa.
Yeah, because it's already designed, with the great cover points, the great sight lines, the great routes for the players. And then what you start looking at when you're designing it for Spec Ops is where you're going to place the armories, because that's what's most important. Where's the weapon armory going to go? Where's the support armory going to go?
That's the most important.
And you design it in the same mentality as you would designing for a domination point of like, can these be easily defended? Are there good sight points? Because where Dom, you typically want things out in the open because you want it open to fire. With Spec Ops, you want it to be very easily defendable. Where can you set up kill boxes? You're thinking of things like where are you going to place sentry turrets, stuff like that. So it's a place with those armories that is really the staple of how you approach it for Spec Ops.
So like every Call of Duty game, I know that the multiplayer maps are always based off of things you encounter in the single player. How do you guys go about like adapting like a single player, what starts out as kind of a single player level, and then changing it and making it work for multiplayer to make sure that one side is balanced, that the proper kill zones are there, but you're not like making something broken?
Well, it's not. Really, the multiplayer maps are started from scratch.
Right. I guess it's more that they draw settings.
They're inspired by,
yes, and they'll use maybe the same textures in some of the buildings and things like that, but they have to be designed from scratch.
So now we're jumping into another Team Defender match in Seatown. Yeah, and I really, having played the multiplayer for a long time, I actually think that you guys have done a great job with the sort of variety that you encounter. Like every map feels very distinct, and I feel like there's like in this one, for instance, I would never, I don't use assault rifles in this one because I feel like this one's always so close that it works to use a submachine gun, such as the guy that the live stream's on, he's obviously doing.
Right, yeah. It depends. I actually use assault on this class because where Mike, you see, is sticking to the inner. So
yeah, that's what I typically, I hunt those inner, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you're sticking to the outside ring, there's much longer sight lines, and like this hallway is great for, this alleyway is great for that.
And you talked about the variety. That was one of the things when we sat down and started designing the game was we wanted to go around the world, because it's obviously a big battle, and that's one of the great things that going into different countries has allowed us is a really good variety. But we also talk about is it going to be day, night? Is it going to be in rain? What is it going to be like so that we can have that variety?
So Twitter user Krusty Buffalo.
Krusty Buffalo.
Wow, that's a good one too. Give him something.
Yeah, we all agree we like you. We're giving you a copy. We're giving you a copy of the game, Krusty Buffalo. Platform of your choice, as long as you live in America. That's the thing, is everyone needs to realize that these prizes can only be mailed to the continental United States.
Buffalo, I would think.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah. So, anyways, he asks, can you customize your character with face paint and different camos, as opposed to obviously there are weapon camos and that sort of thing, as far as character customization goes?
No, we do not do visual character customization. All of our customization at Modern Warfare 3, we focus on your gameplay pretty much, with the exception, of course, of weapon camos that you can unlock.
Yeah, I kind of get that. It seems to me that the character designs and stuff are obviously done in such a way that if people could customize their character camo, all of a sudden there might be one level where that camo is totally broken. Like all of a sudden they're able to hide way too well in a certain grass texture or something like that.
Right. Well, how we design our characters, especially in multiplayer, so much thought goes into that by our designers because we're looking at things like silhouette, we're looking at things like color scheme, we're customizing every single squad per level. That's the reason why you can only play as certain forces in certain levels, because we're catering those character designs to work best and be most balanced for those maps, as well as giving you things like situational awareness. So the silhouette of the player has never changed, so you can tell by the loadout of that player, the silhouette of, does he have a rocket launcher on his back? Is he an assault guy? Is he a sniper? That stuff is very important to instant situational awareness of what is that threat from 50 yards away, and how can I prepare for it before he even opens fire on me?
Increased situational awareness actually seems like it's kind of an emphasis in Modern Warfare 3, especially if you're playing something like the support class, and now where they can early on with their strike package, they can do things like, or later on I guess they can call in a little UAV that's like a helicopter, and it has no direct offensive capabilities, but it can tag players for the rest of their teammates, and you get a bonus for if those guys get killed.
Exactly, yeah.
I just think that examples like that are kind of a good indication of the fact that you're encouraging team play in a way that maybe the other games didn't do necessarily to the same degree.
Yep.
So in this level, are there any particular tips you have for anybody playing this level to give our viewers kind of a heads up on the competition when it comes out?
I would, with this or playing Team Defender, I would definitely, be using something with a sight, because, there's a Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, Juggernauts, and it's your guy, it's Guy from Sledgehammer who's the Juggernaut, so he's going to be particularly tough. Oh, they got him, never mind.
Did they?
Good for them. Yeah, they got him, good for them.
Nice. Yeah,
that's the thing is, Juggernauts aren't unstoppable.
No, you get drop a bomb on them.
That's a really good strategy for really any situation.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I see when I see one of them is
Predator.
Give me something the biggest.
Another Twitter user, mmonk667 asks, Are there any game modes you guys haven't disclosed at this point?
Game modes that we haven't disclosed at this point.
I think they've all been talked about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you have all your classics, and of course you have the brand new modes, Kill Confirm and Team Defender that we're seeing here. We have a lot of exclusive game modes in private match as well that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you could talk a little bit more about private match, because I don't think people understand the breadth of things that have kind of changed for that.
Yeah, so in private match now, we've given you complete control over your experience. So you can go in there, and this is especially important for our competitive players, because they can go in there and they can completely customize game rules for themselves, and most importantly have complete control over like clash restriction stuff. So they can take out any perk, any weapon, restrict anything they want in the game to really tailor the gameplay experience to what they want. And more importantly, we've baked in custom game modes that are in there, like gun game, one in the chamber from previous games, as well as brand new things like infection, juggernaut game modes. That you can go in there and customize the rule set, save those, share them with your friends, and do whatever you want.
So you could basically, you could play something like gun game, but then you could sit there and change which guns are unlocked in the process of a gun game rather than what starts out as default.
Yep.
If you and your friends have a specific, like, we only like degrees of pistols or something like that. That's really cool.
Exactly. So you can do that, and then you can share them with your friends in Elite. What I'll be doing once the game comes out is I'm going to be looking at, what are the most popular game modes that people are creating themselves, and then we can take some of those, feature them on Elite so everybody can download them, and maybe if we want, if they're really good and we think they're going to be mass appeal, then move those into the public playlist so that you can rank up on them as well.
And of course, what people love is when you're creating these modes and sharing them, you get credit. It's made by blah blah blah, so that everyone knows that you came up with this really cool version of gun game.
Exactly. So see, this guy's using an IMS right now. He has sit rep, so he sees the IMS. He's using the IMS to cover the ground floor while he sits with the flag on the top floor.
I see. So it's kind of like an advanced claymore in a way.
Right.
It covers you 4 times as opposed to a claymore that only gets you once. Oh man, carpet bombing. Not a whole lot you can do against that, except get out of the way.
Run.
One of my favorite new strike packages things is in the assault one, that now instead of a single attack chopper, you can call in multiple attack choppers.
Right, yeah, that whole
the streak of them. it's just, there's some really good visual effects in the multiplayer that really make certain strike packages just feel like you're like, hell yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, you feel like a badass, exactly,
yeah.
in a way that the other games did, but this, it's like upping it to a large degree.
I love the escort airdrop. When it comes in, drops off your package, and then the Osprey will stick around and cover it for you, so you don't have the guy running up trying to snatch it.
M. Fernandez asks, what other DLC will be available other than maps, if you guys are able to talk about such things at this point?
We can't yet.
Yeah, no.
Because right now we're just now in that phase where we finished up the game, we're in that final stretch, and this is when we're going to start looking at, okay, what do we actually want to do with DLC? Obviously, we have huge post-launch support plans.
Yeah, the DLC sounds like it's going to come out much more regularly for Modern Warfare 3 than maybe even past Call of Duty.
Well, with Elite,
Here's that recon drone.
Oh yeah, the recon drone, which it's like I said, it's so cool because you're not doing any direct damage necessarily, but it tags people, and when you tag someone, it almost like they get like quickly flashbanged.
Yeah.
So it can have like a strategic importance, but most importantly, that right there, that guy knew exactly where that person was that he killed.
Yeah.
Because
hopefully the guy who's using the recon drone is like a communicator. He's a team support guy. He's not only tagging it and using the in-game features, but he's talking over the mic and telling his teammates what he sees. Because that's going to be just as important as physically tagging them in the game, because it's great if you can tag them so they show up on the map for everyone.
But not everyone knows if they're like hiding behind a wall.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what I'll do is when we're playing like headquarters and they're in fortified positions trying to defend a point, an objective point, I will be like using it to fly in, and more importantly, be telling them what to expect. See, okay, I just tagged this guy, he's a juggernaut waiting by the door. I just tagged this guy, but watch out, he has claymores this way. Because you're going to be able to go in there and see what sort of defenses they have set up. Do they have claymores at the door? Did you just see a guy throw down a bouncing Betty? Be communicating that stuff, because talking to your teammates is just as important as any in-game thing we can give you.
So we're loading into another multiplayer map. Again, if you're just joining us, we're here doing a live stream of Call of Duty. You can send in your questions that we've been answering for Glenn and Robert to twitter.com/IGN with the hashtag Modern Warfare 3. Remember, if you want a chance to win the limited edition Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Xbox 360, which comes with a copy of the game and 2 controllers, and it obviously looks pretty cool, you have to go to facebook.com/IGN and become a fan. You can also, if you continue watching, you can win Turtle Beach headsets, Gunner Optic glasses, 20 copies of the game.
Did you get all that stuff?
I brought that from home.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Great.
So yeah, so you have a chance to win all this really cool stuff. You keep watching. We're gonna do a little bit more multiplayer, and then we're gonna go into some Spec Ops, and then even some more multiplayer. I know, right? These, do you guys even get the stuff that we have here?
Well, eventually, I guess.
I have the gunner optics, and then I also have the sunglass versions, which I think are pretty rad. That Gunner gave me. Sorry.
I'm not near headquarters. You know, we're in San Francisco, so after people go through the boxes and everything, we'll get the stuff.
You know, yeah, I think to some degree, some people may not know exactly. You know, I think everyone knows Robert to a degree because he has a pretty large social presence and stuff. But Glenn, you know,
pretty
what?
Large. Yeah, it's like Ashton Kutcher of video games. Right?
What exactly is your role at the studio? You know, as head of studio obviously means something, but like, you know, how much creative influence do you get? You know, sort of going into games like Call of Duty.
Well, the Call of Duty is on this particular one. We sat down with Infinity Ward at the beginning, and you know, it's obviously we had 2 games before, so we had to continue that story. But it was kind of a blank page on what the next game was going to be. And when we sat down and started talking, we kind of came to the same conclusions pretty quickly within a week. You know, we said this has got to be a big battle. We want to take it to Europe. We've got to sort of finish the story in the United States, and make it a much bigger battle. And there's a lot of creativity in this.
I know.
There's a ton.
And your role in particular, I mean, you get to come in and help out with everything from art to sound. To
The Sledgehammer split into development side, which is Michael Condrey. He makes sure everything gets done, and all the creative guys will report into me. And yeah, I sit with audio directors and art directors, things like that, and you know, we sit and work on the stories.
Do you ever find, you know, coming from sort of an art perspective, that working on something that's going for a degree of realism is a particular challenge, or is that kind of, do you like that kind of, as opposed to creating a universe from scratch and art, you know, like a look from scratch?
No, I love, each one is a different challenge, each game, and this particular one was sitting down with the art director from Infinity Ward, and you know, Richard Kriegler, and you know, him telling us the rules they had, and just finding ways to get that, but also try and enhance that as well.
Man, the mic is just being a monster right now with that sniper
really
rifle.
Yeah,
but I think this is a good example of level design that kind of caters to a bunch of different weapon types. Obviously, there's this huge alley for a sniper. There's buildings you can go into. Obviously, for, you know, he's not invulnerable from people coming around the side with assault rifles or submachine guns.
Yeah.
So, Twitter user Sketchy Cinema HD.
I've been to one of those.
He asks a question that
Recently.
he says, how is the banning system going to work as far as like being able to ban players or kick players?
That is a very good question, because I don't know how much detail I want to go into it, but the anti-cheat work that we've done on Modern Warfare 3 as a whole across all the platforms is extensive. We have so much more control now over how we can edit and take action on the leaderboards, so we can clean up the leaderboards from anybody who we determine is illegitimate, because we have the benefit now of having things like Elite, where not only can you go in and check every game you've ever played, check every detailed stat that you've ever done, but we can go in and use that to verify, okay, this guy was obviously boosting, this guy was obviously doing something that was not fair. So we can go in there, we can review games in theater, we can review player reports, because you have a report player function in game now. So that flags somebody and says, okay, maybe this is a game we need to be paying attention to. So if you see somebody doing something that's shitty, flag them, because if a lot of people are flagging them in the game, that's going to bring it to our attention faster. So we can go in and verify, ban players from the game, keep them from playing, keep them from registering on the leaderboard temporarily, forever, whatever we want to do. So you're taking a big risk by trying to cheat in the game in the first place. Because when we identify you, you can take yourselves out of the competition completely. But then, more importantly, we have the tools to actually verify that and take even further action on it.
You know, for people that are unfamiliar with what Elite does, is it kind of, on top of, it tracks a lot of stats, but you can also go into particulars, like where you got to kill, what gun you got to kill, who killed you, where you were standing exactly when that guy killed you. You can kind of get a good feel for like where the good kill zones are on a map, for maybe what a really amazing player was doing to get all those kills.
definitely.
Yeah, strategies you can learn just from that stuff.
Yeah, you can really go in there and analyze data.
Yeah.
Do you guys? But you guys also have access to that data. Is that sort of the data that you guys will use to help do maybe balance tweaks and stuff as the game goes on? And obviously, it's one thing when you guys are playing and in the studio and with small teams. But when the game gets in the hands of millions of people who are spending hours with it, I'm sure they learn to do things that you never anticipated.
Yeah, always, of course.
Man,
And Elite's going to allow us to, get hard data on that, because getting fan feedback is extremely important, and then getting the hard data that supports that is just as important.
Yeah, and we can use some of that in any DLC or any maps in the future. It helps us become better designers.
That was the decoy strike package.
So for your question, Sketchy Cinema HD, and for your awesome name, you're getting a copy of the game. I think that worked out, because banning players and how to deal with sketchy situations is always something I think people worry about, especially in a game like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. It's like the multiplayer in this game is where it has its real legs, and people are going to be playing for years.
Yeah, definly.
I wonder why Sketchy asked that question.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I don't want to get banned.
Yeah,
so what sort of
Do not soil the fair name of Sketchy Cinema.
Another a Twitter question that comes from Haibuse86. He says, will there be any 3D game support for the 10 people out there that have 3D TVs?
I just got one, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
11.
Pretty exciting.
Is that something that you guys are ever looking to support with something like Call of Duty?
Well, Black Ops supported it.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty has supported it. It was not something that we were looking to support with Modern Warfare 3.
We kind of look at it from a gameplay perspective.
Exactly.
And if it's not going to add, any value to the gameplay, then it's not something we should put in.
Yeah, I guess at that point, if the technology
visual
was more
effect,
prolific and it had a way that it could be emphasized for gameplay.
And there was no impact on frame rate or anything like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think Call of Duty is one of the few games that, to this day, it always talks about the frame rate is still such a coveted sort of thing.
Yep. It's key.
And there are other games like Gears of War and stuff that can run at 30 and they work just fine, because that's like what the multiplayer is designed for.
Exactly.
But Call of Duty, obviously, you guys could push the graphics to even crazier levels if you wanted. But if it's going to take away from that 60 frames a second, it's like, the pros versus the cons.
Yeah, it's all about the overall experience. For sure.
Why is it that you feel the 60 frames per second, for people that are kind of more unfamiliar with it, is so important to the Call of Duty experience?
For us, it's all about that smooth gameplay, because the gunplay is king for us, and it's extremely fast gunplay, especially in Modern Warfare 3. We're always about, the very fast firefights, a lot of stuff going on, and we want that very smooth, tight gun control. And the 60 frames per second is just one of those things that helps us sell that helps us, make that as smooth as it is.
So another Twitter question from Michael Jenkins 17, who noticed in this last level. He says, it's clear that quickscoping is back in Modern Warfare 3. Are there any challenges or fixes to quickscoping that make it harder to execute?
Harder to execute. I don't know if there's anything.
I guess we should take a second. What exactly is quickscoping for the people that are totally, unaware of what it is?
Right, well, so it's the difference between quick scoping and hard scoping. So hard scoping is like going in and getting a definitely I was going to use hard scope in the definition of hard scoping, but quick scoping is using sort of the twitch of the auto aim, of using that to quickly identify a target without bringing your scope all the way up and fire quickly. It's something that doesn't come naturally. You have to become good at it. It's something that I've noticed.
Yeah, I exactly. I know what quick scoping is, but I still can't do it.
Yeah, neither can I.
Tough.
Yeah, I can't snipe. Period. I can't hard scope well either.
Yeah.
But so I definitely can't quick scope. But my favorite part is watching the kids who are horrible at quick scoping attempt to quick scope 8 times in a row. But then you have those guys who are extremely good at it, who have mastered it, and are really well at it. Who will, do very well in a match. But, the counter to it is being a good assault guy, being good at getting up on snipers just like anybody else.
Twitter user JJ Sifarek asks, will there be any special content available to just COD Elite members?
Special content available to just COD Elite members.
Yeah.
Is he?
He doesn't actually specify whether it's DLC or anything, so I guess we can kind of talk about it.
There's some of the content that we've announced at XP and all that. Well, if you have to be on Elite to get it.
Yeah, I guess we can just
Right,
kind of use that question to kind of branch out more in some of the elite specials things, such as clan support's obviously an elite feature that you would get through elite. That's actually a paid elite feature, but I think that you obviously what do you exactly do you get when you're paying for clan support?
Well, the clan sub is really cool because it allows you to go in. You can reserve clan tags for your clans, so you can reserve that clan tag so all your teams have it showing up in game. You can assign clan colors to that clan tag for you. You can earn XP stuff for your clan as a whole, and then obviously you have your own clan page where you can go communicate.
And you can set up
games.
game practice times, and
Exactly.
you can set up times. Also, if you have a clan, you can also use elite to set up challenges to other clans, right? You can actually set clan throwdowns basically and do these things that previously you would have used a message or forum to do. Now you can do it from within the game.
Yeah, it gives you basically a home base for your clan, as well as the ability to do those clan type stuff. It also gives you access as a whole, whether you're in a clan or not, to special competitions and things that you can enter to earn real world prizes, to do things like that.
How do you build a clan? Like, I think that's something that is it just that I decide I want to start a clan and then we can sit there and build on it, or is it like I have to send out invitations?
Pretty much, yeah. So every clan needs a leader. So the leader goes and starts a clan, and then it's up to him to invite and choose and moderate who's able to join that clan. How open is it, and then stuff like that. So the leader is basically the linchpin that holds the entire clan together, organizes it, pulls it all together.
So here we are seeing another match of Team Defender, one of the new multiplayer modes for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This map in particular, I think I actually really like, especially for Team Defender, because there's a couple places where you can really hole up and draw into killing fields. I also think that this is a great map for domination. That's the thing, is every map can be played. There's 16 maps coming out to start, and every single one can be played within any mode.
Yeah.
And also there's hardcore mode making a return for people like me that love to play hardcore in particular.
Hardcore, bare bones.
So will all the map modes, Team Defender, all that, are all those available when you buy the game, or are some of these earned within the first levels that you're leveling up? Like, is it first, you're doing TDM to start?
Correct, yeah. When you first get the game, only some of the standard playlists are available to you. And as you rank up and become more proficient, then you're going to unlock more of the advanced game modes, more of the advanced playlists. Because we've broken multiplayer down into standard playlists and advanced playlists. So advanced playlists are things like hardcore modes, things like mosh pits, things that are typically, not you jump in, you obviously know what's going on, because we don't want the new players jumping in there,
Right,
being confused.
you kind of warm them up with Team Deathmatch, where their only goal is to kill someone.
Exactly.
And then you can get them used to the idea of actually completing objectives additionally as well.
Yeah, but obviously, the veteran Call of Duty players who have been playing for years, they're going to jump in and unlock those other game modes, super quickly.
I think that what we just saw there was actually a really cool example of what a support class can do for their team. Adding a ballistic vest that everyone on the team can kind of pick up, get that little bit of extra boost to health. I mean, I don't think it's anything that's necessarily it's not going to make that person invincible, but with a whole team with vests, it can make the difference between a push being successful or failing.
Yeah, especially in objective game modes. Like if you have a good support player, he's throwing that down just at the cover point before a dom plays. So the guy who's going to run in and try to capture, he can pick that up. Or if he sees somebody running for the flag, throw it down so that guy who's going to pick up the flag can get it, so he has a little bit more support.
I don't know if you guys can speak to it at all, but are there ever times when you're kind of designing these games that you ever have to kill an idea for a multiplayer mode or something like that, where you're just like, that ultimate challenge as a designer of like killing something that you realize just isn't as fun as you thought. On paper it sounded like, it sounded like it's going to be an amazing idea, and then you get it and you're like, I guess we need to kill this because
it's not just for multiplayer, but spec ops and things like that. The worst thing is, at least for me, is you come up with something and you're pretty excited about it. You've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and you write it down, and then you bring it to the team, and they're just like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm
sure that must happen in campaign as well, where you have like an idea for maybe a set piece or something that isn't coming together the way that it was hoped.
But with these maps, a lot of them are also we'll build them in block worlds, and you'll play through them and not only see if they're good design, but if the mode will work as well. These take a lot of R&D, and you know, a lot of playing and iterating on them.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like weapons and kill streaks and stuff that you're adding to, the big filter that comes down is how balanced is it? Is this overpowered? Is it fun? Does it slow down the gameplay? Because if it meets any of those things, if it slows down gameplay or is too overpowered, then it's just something that's not going to go into the game. And we'll look at different iterations of it. Like at one point we had, you know, we ended with that mini tank that you could drive around that has limitations to it. It's very slow. It's going to take you a while to get across. Once you're getting hit, it starts going all static and stuff like that. So there's balancing stuff to it. Originally, we had full-size tanks that you could call into a multiplayer map. They'd come crashing through a wall, and it would cover a specific point. And you look at like, okay, we like that idea. We like, okay, tanks and multiplayer, but how can we do it in a way that's right for Modern Warfare, that stays with the, you know, fast-paced gameplay, that sticks with that balance, but is done right?
But on the other hand, when they started talking about kill confirmed and bringing that up, everyone kind of agreed that sounds like a hit.
Yeah, there's actually a Twitter user named Modern Warfare 3 Research who says what can be driven while playing online Modern Warfare 3. Obviously, there's no drivable vehicles.
No drivable, yeah.
You got the little tank. You're not in it.
Has that?
Yeah, you're not in it, but you're controlling it.
Yeah. So is there?
And, some of the, I mean, they're driving some of
the smaller UAVs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there ever been sort of the idea of, you know, toying around with sort of drivable vehicles, you know, like a tank or a, you know, I guess the levels in general are small enough, focused fights that you don't necessarily need vehicles.
Exactly, and that's a specific design decision. Because, you know, we've looked at vehicles in the past and played around with them in our multiplayer. I mean, obviously, Treyarch has done their own
Yeah,
things.
they did it.
But in Modern Warfare, what vehicles do is they change the design of the map. They change the design of the pacing of the multiplayer thing. So when you put in a vehicle,
the balancing, everything
all of a sudden
about
people
it.
have to think about anti-vehicle weaponry.
Anti-vehicle weaponry, you start spreading out the map so they're not so close quarters, they're not fast-paced, you're not always in the fight. And that can be fun if that's what you're designing for, but it's not the style of multiplayer that Modern Warfare is about. We're all about that very fast-paced, infantry-focused combat, and you start losing that when you start introducing vehicles. So there's ways that you could do it, but it's a different experience. And this is the experience that we like the most. And that was a horrible knife. That was a horrible attempted knifing.
But in fact, in some ways, this game goes back to you know, some of the gun-on-gun stuff that was original, because it felt like it was pulling away a little bit in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if there's one thing Call of Duty's always been known for is it hasn't necessarily been the playable vehicle sections and stuff like that. Like those are nice because they help break up the pacing of something like a campaign. But when everyone thinks about Call of Duty, it's thinking about looking down the barrel of a gun, shooting at people as a person, not as a tank. And I think that's probably, you know, the emphasis that.
Nice.
It is. I mean, Robert's right. It's not, we think about this stuff all the time. We'll try stuff out, and if it's not right for the game, you know, you have to say that. You know, that's a different game.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's just one of the hardest things is like, or maybe not for you because you've been designing games for as long as you have, but learning to like kill your cool idea that you had, you know, at 2 in the morning, you're like, wow, this is going to be so game changing, and then you realize it's just.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think 90% of, you know, making games is no. Like, and you have to be able to be comfortable in a room with all the other designers and be able to take no and be able to say no. Because, you know, the game is more important and bigger than all of us.
Yeah, is that something at Sledgehammer? Like, you know, obviously there are some studios where I think people sometimes have an idea that, like, you know, oh, this is that one person's game. You know, like for instance, they might think, Sid Meier, oh, this is Sid Meier's game. You know,
yeah.
Whereas at Sledgehammer, it's like, you know, all your designers have the chance to veto something.
It's the same thing with you know, IW. In working with them, we've all, you know. We call them game makers at Sledgehammer, but the whole idea with the two studios is we don't care where the best idea comes from, just as long as it gets in the game. So we're constantly encouraging new ideas and making sure that brainstorming meetings aren't shut down by one person, that everybody feels comfortable throwing out ideas and saying no if they don't like an idea.